Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Protection Update. You might have seen a note earlier this week from me with regards to our protection survey for 2021. So did you get the email? Did you manage to fill it in yet? I would be really grateful if you could, because I think that's going to help us really map out and shape what we do and focus on, from a protection development point of view at least, across the network in the coming months. If you didn't get the survey, or if you haven't seen it yet, there is a link just underneath this audio clip in this week's Protection Update. Now, you might remember that when I wrote to many of you a few weeks ago, when I first started in the role, I mentioned a project called Reasons to Recommend. I was probably a bit vague about what that was all about, but if you look at the survey, you'll basically see the context to what I'm talking about there. I know many of you operate across the whole of the market, and that's great. But what that does is it also throws up some big challenges for you, and that's because the market is constantly moving all the time. Providers are constantly coming up with different bits and pieces to add to their proposition. So it does throw up some challenges when it comes to exactly what to recommend. So if you were faced with, say, 30 different product solutions on Solution Builder, how do you know what's best? Well, the point of Reasons to Recommend is to start looking at those nuances, those USPs, those features and benefits. I think that being able to pick out those details that are important to your clients, things that resonate with them and their family, that's going to help you tailor your advice and recommendation, and it's going to help us take the conversation away from price. So on the survey, what you're going to see is a big long list of reasons to recommend, all things beyond the headline benefit, and we've given you the description of what the feature actually is. What I haven't done is told you what life company that feature goes with. So all you need to do really is tell us your level of confidence at being able to articulate that particular feature to your clients. So it's either going to be high, which means you know what it is and you know who does it. Medium, you know a bit, but maybe a little bit more information would be useful. Or low, you don't know much at all about it. Now, I think the answers and output to the survey on that section are going to really help us, because quite soon you're going to start seeing some short and snappy podcasts where we focus on a single protection idea. Whether it's a feature, a benefit, a sales angle, whatever, it doesn't matter. I've managed to convince many of the life companies I've been talking to get involved in this project, and I think that based on what comes out of the survey, as I say, that's going to help us map some of the topics, and it's going to steer some of the talking points as to what we actually do on those podcasts. Now, also in the survey, there are some other protection related sections. For example, a nice simple one about webinars. Webinars, online meetings, Zoom, all that stuff that we've been getting into over the past year or so. These are probably here to stay, but we'd like to know, what are the good and bad times for you to actually attend these things? We haven't really asked that question before. So, for example, is there a day in your normal working week which would be better for you to attend a webinar? On the survey, you can let us know. Beyond that, what about the time? What's the best and optimal time for you? What are the busy times we want to avoid? So again, it's an opportunity for you to let us know all those things. I've put a section in there about risk reports. That's another thing that I want us to have a conversation about, really, because I know some of us use them to really good effect. What do you think of them? Do you use them? If you do, what works for you? If you don't, is there a reason why you've not used them so far? And without exhausting the list of different sections within the survey, there is another section there about trusts. I think personally there are a lot of really amazing sales opportunities around using trusts. I've already heard from many of you who have told me directly that this is something that you really want to get on top of. So again, tell us what you think in the survey, and we'll certainly get a focus on trusts over the next coming months. Now, I don't think it'll take you very long to fill it in, but we're going to close the survey down on Friday, the 25th of June. So you've effectively got a couple of weeks to fill it in. Once we do get the results back, I'm going to run through it all again with you, because I'm sure you'll be interested to see what everybody said. There's going to be some interesting insights, and that's really going to help us, as I say, map out some of the protection development programs for the coming months. And just one more thing to point out before I go. You should have had a communication from Zurich this week to inform you that they are closing down their pre-application telephone line today. That's the 11th of June. That's where you can phone an underwriter and discuss cases. What they are pushing going forward is all their efforts into this pre-application tool. Now, you do have access to this as soon as you log into the Zurich portal. And from talking to Zurich today, I do understand that many of you have not actually logged into it yet. So we're going to get together with Zurich over the next couple of weeks and look at some podcasts and things like that, where we can really show you some examples of how good it is and how it works. From my point of view, it's intuitive. It's easy to use, and it does actually cover 90% of pre-application queries. So I think it's one of those things where you need to give it a go, really. Have a look at it for yourself and see whether it works for you. But obviously, from a sales point of view, it is quite important to have a clearer indication about exactly how much the policy for protection is going to cost, how much the direct debit will be. And this is going to give you that insight, because that could make the difference between you getting the policy on risk and the client rejecting it. So that's everything for me this week. Have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you all very soon.